Sports. On the sports front, we've got Panthers that have been top of mind as folks have been looking ahead to the upcoming season. We're in the midst of training camp. We've already had one preseason game. Our Danielle Stein is joining us right now from Bank of America Stadium. The sun is out where you are.
I know.
A revelation
right.
that it doesn't have to pour
Absolutely.
on your training camp.
Well, today actually was a little bit of a tale of two stories because it actually was pretty bad weather to start the day, so much so that the day of training camp was delayed for an hour and 15 minutes, which was something that we hadn't seen actually at all throughout training camp so far. We've seen a lot of heavy rains, but today was enough for them to say, hey, let's push it back a little bit, let things dry off, and here we are. The sun is shining. It is now beautiful out for the last home day of training camp for this preseason, actually.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. I suppose it's probably because they are going on the road Saturday. They're going to play, I believe it's Texans, right? And that will be there in Texas.
Yep, so technically this is the last home day of training camp. They do technically continue with training camp as they're going to be traveling tomorrow, and then Thursday they do have a joint practice with the Houston Texans before they have that second preseason game on Saturday. So that's also part of what is considered to be training camp. But then once the team returns, it's then just going into preseason work. It's no longer considered training camp, but our schedules are going to be looking a lot of the same as the team is still prepping and getting ready for the season to officially open up.
Yeah, I mean, y'all with the sports department, you've had some kind of, amended schedules lately because y'all been getting up maybe a little bit earlier than you're used to, for your normal, shift, if you will. So I guess what are you looking at as far as, storylines for us today? Anything interesting pop out to you during the activities today and that you'll be reporting on for us in our evening newscasts?
Yeah, so today we had an extended look, of course, at training camp. No pads for the players today. Bryce Young did look sharp. We saw him looking pretty good out there during some of the drills. We saw of note still JC Horn not participating in those team drills after he got into that car accident last week. He still does have his stitches on his thumb, on his left hand. We did see him actually working on a little bit of one-handed catching, working on some maybe interceptions if he were to be able to pull that kind of thing off. So he's still trying to stay as active as possible. Another storyline of training camp all this summer we've been seeing is coming from one of those undrafted rookie free agents in Corey Thornton. He has been the story, it seems, for this Panthers camp, and every single person who's talking about him is saying absolutely glowing things about him. JC Horn, even himself, saying he can't believe that this is a guy who went undrafted in the NFL draft earlier this year. Corey Thornton had that massive WWE-style smackdown slam in that preseason game against the Browns, but he's been showing up in practice every single day. He's continuing to put on a lot of really good pressure on the defensive front as well, too. So that's been really fun to watch as this team is going to be getting closer and closer to making some tough decisions in terms of who is in and who is out on this roster.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember we had maybe it was a one-on-one with him last week. He seems to have a pretty good attitude, if I remember correctly, and just I know obviously wants to go out there and prove himself. And you used the word glowing. Literally, as you brought his name up, I was just sitting here thinking the word glowing as far as just all of the reviews I've heard from him from folks who've been watching him.
Yeah, people have been really excited. Of course, it takes a big play like that one against the Browns where a guy was hurdling him midair and he took him down for people to start to really buy in. But it's not that. It's the little things the team has been saying. He's been showing up day in and day out and really working. And he's been relying on those veterans, too, around him, and JC Horn and Mike Jack as well. JC saying that Corey's someone who always is asking him questions. How do you prepare for a game day? How are you getting your body right? So this is someone who's really trying to work to earn their place. And of course, this wouldn't be the first time that an undrafted free agent gets signed and maybe makes an impact. Damari Richardson is another example of a player who has done that in the past too with this team, who is still here today. So that is something he can draw on as an example, especially on the defensive side of the ball too.
All right. Anything that you're looking for as you look ahead to the matchup that's to come on Saturday?
I think it's just another really good chance for the Panthers to get out there. Dave Canales already said that he wants to see those starters, including Bryce Young, out there for a little bit more extended time. We saw 2 series in that game against the Browns. The first one was that 3-and-out, so not really a good complete look at what the offense can bring. He wants to see a little bit more, and I think the whole team is excited and eager to really get out there and also try to put some plays together themselves too. So we saw a little bit of that combination between Bryce Young and T-Mac, 2 really nice receptions there, one of them going for 30 yards. I know everyone wants to see how that continues to progress on the field. But the Texans, they are strong. We will see what kind of team they will be putting out there as well. But it's going to be, again, another test for that defense to step up in an early preseason test for them to see how they can hold up against a strong competitor.
Fantastic. All right. We know that you've got some coverage coming up here on our evening newscast. Anything that you want to lay out for us, 4, 5, 6, that folks can expect as they keep it here on WCNC Plus?
Absolutely. Another story from today, being the last joint practice here in Charlotte. We'll call it that because the Panthers hosted PALS, which is the Police Activity League, the under-11 Pop Warner football team. So some youth football players were out here today playing a little bit of a game with the Panthers, all watching from the side, and it was a really cool moment. We're going to hear from their coach about what it means to have the Panthers supporting their initiative of bringing football on a big stage, and how some of these players really took their time to get to know these kids and serve as a really positive influence for them. So I'm going to have more about that tonight around 5:50.
That is fantastic. Oh, I'm excited to see that. All right, Danielle Stein, thank you so much for your report once again at Bank of America Stadium as we are wrapping up the home element of training camp. Of course, more coverage to come